Nobody was supposed to see this coming. Not now. Not like this. After 19 years of stability, toughness, and a standard that never bent, Mike Tomlin is gone from Pittsburgh, and while the headlines are screaming about legacy, contracts, and what comes next, one quiet moment cut deeper than any press conference ever could. It wasn't said on ESPN. It wasn't shouted by fans. It was a simple repost, a show of love, and it told a bigger story than anyone expected. If you want to understand what this moment really means for the Steelers, for TJ Watt, and for the soul of this franchise, stay with me because the real impact of Tomlin's exit isn't obvious yet, and by the end of this video you might see Pittsburgh football very differently. The season had already ended in disappointment. A wild-card loss to the Houston Texans. Another year that ended without a deep playoff run. Another year where the Steelers were competitive, tough, respected, but not champions. And yet, even after the loss, most people believed the one constant would remain untouched. Mike Tomlin had survived roster changes, quarterback eras, injuries, criticism, and evolving NFL trends. He had never had a losing season. He had become the face of consistency in a league addicted to chaos. Then Tuesday happened. Mike Tomlin announced his departure after 19 years as head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Just like that, an era closed. No dramatic firing. No ugly divorce. Just a statement, gratitude, and a door quietly shutting behind one of the most influential coaches of his generation. The Steelers organization released a heartfelt message on Instagram, thanking Tomlin for his leadership, his integrity, and his impact. It was exactly what you'd expect from a franchise that prides itself on class. But the message didn't stop there. Because when TJ Watt's wife, Dani, reshared that post, something unexpected happened. Fans noticed, and the emotion shifted. This wasn't about social media clout. This wasn't about headlines. This was about respect, about family, about the human side of a decision that's been reduced to football strategy by most analysts. Dani Watt's repost wasn't loud, but it was powerful. It was a reminder that Mike Tomlin wasn't just a coach. He was a leader inside that building, a constant presence in the lives of players and their families. To understand why that matters, you have to understand what Mike Tomlin represented in Pittsburgh. He joined the Steelers in 2007, inheriting a proud franchise with massive expectations. Winning wasn't optional. Culture wasn't negotiable. From day one, Tomlin didn't try to be flashy. He didn't chase trends. He demanded accountability. He demanded toughness. And above all, he demanded that players show up as professionals. Over nearly 2 decades, he navigated everything the NFL could throw at him. Super Bowl runs, locker room challenges, franchise quarterback transitions, media storms. Through it all, he never lost the room. Players trusted him. Veterans respected him. Young guys grew under him. That doesn't happen by accident. So when Tomlin spoke about his departure, the words carried weight. He didn't sound bitter. He didn't sound burned out. He sounded reflective, grateful, proud. He talked about the organization being a huge part of his life, about the honor of leading the team, about Art Rooney too and the late Ambassador Rooney trusting him with something sacred. He thanked the players who gave everything they had every day. He thanked the coaches and staff whose dedication made the journey meaningful. And then he addressed Steelers Nation, acknowledging the passion, loyalty, and high expectations that make Pittsburgh unlike anywhere else. That wasn't just a goodbye. That was a love letter to a city and a franchise that defined him. And here's where things get even more interesting. According to reports from ESPN's Adam Schefter, Mike Tomlin is not expected to coach in 2026. This isn't a quick jump to another sideline. This isn't a revenge tour. This is a pause, a step back, a moment to breathe after nearly 20 years of living inside the pressure cooker of NFL leadership. That alone should make people stop and think. Coaches don't just walk away from power and relevance unless something inside them shifts. And while we may never fully know what led to this decision, the timing speaks volumes. The NFL is changing. Player dynamics are changing. Expectations are evolving. And even the strongest pillars eventually feel the weight. Now think about this from TJ Watt's perspective. TJ Watt isn't just a star defender. He's the heartbeat of the Steelers defense. He embodies everything Tomlin preached. Relentless effort, accountability, leadership without excuses. Watt grew into a superstar under Tomlin's watch. His career, his mentality, his role in the locker room were shaped by that culture. When Dani Watt reshared the Steelers' tribute to Tomlin, it wasn't just a supportive gesture. It was an acknowledgement of that bond. A recognition that this man helped shape the environment that allowed her husband to become who he is today. Sometimes the most honest reactions don't come from press microphones. They come from quiet moments online. And fans felt that. Because Steelers Nation understands loss. They understand tradition. They understand what it means when something foundational changes. And this wasn't just a coach leaving. This was the end of an identity that had been remarkably stable in an unstable league. But while one chapter was closing, life kept moving. Just days later, Dani Watt was sharing glimpses of normalcy. A girls' lunch outing with friends. Smiles. Casual moments. A reminder that while football consumes fans emotionally, the people connected to the game still have lives unfolding beyond the stadium lights. This contrast is important, because it shows the duality of the NFL world. On one side, history shifts. Legacies are debated. Careers pivot. On the other, families continue. Friendships matter. Moments are cherished. Dani Watt has never been someone chasing attention. When she shares, it's usually personal, genuine. Whether it's a girls' night in during Christmas, decorated homes, or quiet celebrations, her presence online feels grounded. And that groundedness mirrors what Mike Tomlin brought to the Steelers. Stability, authenticity, balance. TJ and Dani Watt have built a life together that reflects those values. Married in July 2022, welcoming their daughter Blakely in March the following year. Their journey has unfolded alongside TJ's rise as one of the most dominant defenders in the NFL. And through it all, Mike Tomlin was there, coaching, guiding, setting standards. So when people ask why this departure feels different, this is why. It's not just about wins and losses. It's about relationships. It's about trust. It's about a city that prides itself on continuity suddenly facing uncertainty. What happens next is the question nobody can fully answer yet. Who steps into that role? Who earns the locker room's trust? Who carries the weight of those expectations without cracking? Because in Pittsburgh, the standard doesn't change just because the name on the office door does. And what about TJ Watt? What does this mean for his future? His leadership role just grew even larger. With Tomlin gone, veteran voices matter more than ever. The culture will need guardians. Players who remember what was built and fight to preserve it. That's why Dani Watt's simple act resonated. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't staged. It was real. And in moments like this, real always cuts deeper. Mike Tomlin may be stepping away, but his influence won't disappear overnight. It's embedded in the mindset of players like TJ Watt. It's woven into the expectations of Steelers Nation. It's written into the identity of a franchise that refuses to accept mediocrity. And here's the part nobody's talking about yet. Sometimes, the end of an era isn't about what's lost. It's about what's revealed. Pressure exposes cracks. Change reveals character. The next few seasons will show whether the Steelers were built around a coach, or whether that coach built something that can outlive him. That's the real test. So as fans argue about replacements, schemes, and timelines, don't forget the human side of the story. Don't forget the repost that quietly said thank you. Don't forget the families who felt this change before analysts ever did. Because football is more than a game in Pittsburgh. It's identity. It's pride. It's legacy. And when someone like Mike Tomlin leaves, the ripple effects go far beyond the sideline. Now I want to hear from you. Was Mike Tomlin's decision to step away the right move for him and the Steelers? Or does this mark the beginning of a dangerous unknown for Pittsburgh? Drop your take in the comments because this conversation is just getting started.